Question everything in pursuit of your purpose. Ask yourself, what if?
Well, welcome back for another episode of Pursuit of Purpose with the What Are We Doing live series of podcasts. I'm Rob.
I'm Chuck.
And we are back to our normal scheduled time.
Yes.
Tuesdays at 10. We appreciate all of you in the audience who have been so faithful to come with us. We have spent the last 2 weeks on Wednesdays coming to you guys live. And today, I want to talk about a few things, but one of them is about, I guess we call it perspective.
Okay.
And it's fascinating because it was a hard lesson for me to learn. And I won't necessarily say I learned it. I'm learning it.
I love ing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Getting better.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still in process. There's
There
no
you
doubt
go.
about it. But the lesson has been that to never discount someone else's experience or
Okay.
someone else's perspective or someone else's belief. And you never discount their experience because they had it.
Right.
They had it.
Right.
And so often we find ourselves in a judgmental train of thought.
Mm-hmm.
We think about somebody else and we're like, I don't understand why you feel that way. That doesn't even make sense.
Right.
Like, that's not what happened.
Right.
But to them,
That's their real.
it is.
That's their reality.
And you know, Chuck, you deal with something really special for mankind. You deal with grief
Mhm.
on a daily basis. That is your specialty.
Yeah.
And
I got one. That's it. That's all I've been getting.
you're better at other things too. But grief is a fascinating thing because
Yes.
grief, you can't touch it.
That's right.
You can't see it.
Right.
And every single individual person on this earth and that ever comes and goes from this life
Mhm.
experiences grief in a different way.
Mhm.
You could have two people with the same loss at the same time, and each of them have a 180-degree different story,
Right.
different perspective.
Mhm.
And that kind of goes to this topic for today is,
Right.
never discount someone else's perspective because they really, it's their story.
Yes.
It's their experience.
Yes.
So now that we've prefaced the show a little bit about that, I want to relate this to
Okay.
politics.
Politics. Okay.
In politics, and we've done quite a few shows with political natures.
Yes.
In politics, we like to divide.
Mhm.
We really do, as a people, as a culture, especially as Americans.
Right.
We like to say left versus right. We like to say conservative versus liberal.
Mhm.
We seem to somehow stick to this divisionary process.
Right. Well, the very nature of campaigning implies there's division.
Yes.
And we're trying to persuade somebody one way or the other. So naturally we're going to do that anyway. And these, we've been in the whole. Is it DEI, whatever, all that kind of stuff.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yes, as if to imply we're going to make us all this one consistent cell of people, and that's not how people are.
Right.
We are created to be differences, just like the different parts on our body. So politics is the persuasion business.
Yeah.
And then there's also seemingly there's selling points, which could be, you are going to have a loss, a potential loss, and I want to be the one to help mitigate that. I want to be the one to help correct that. So there's part of the selling process as well, it seems.
Yeah, and I find it fascinating that, so we had the privilege in this primary political season, as we were setting up the show, we had the privilege of interviewing a few candidates for different offices.
Yes.
And they didn't all have the same story exactly, but fascinatingly enough, they all shared some striking similarities.
Okay. Yes, they did.
All of them.
Mhm.
They all had certain types of ambition.
Mhm.
They all were very patriotic and loyal Americans.
Mhm.
They all believed in the value of this country and the value of our representative system.
Mhm.
And they all had a sense of humility about themselves.
Yes.
And none of them, at least when they sat with us, at least when we talked with them,
Right.
none of them that I could discern,
Mhm.
none of them portrayed that if you don't get me, you're lost.
That's right.
And I really appreciated that.
Right.
We had some good candidates
Yes.
in this primary race.
Yeah, there was an aura of optimism on both their parts. Ideally, they wanted to obviously be the one to have that that season of influence by winning, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with pursuing that. But neither of them came in with a pessimistic perception, saying if you don't pick me, bad things are going to happen. I didn't catch that from either one of them. Yeah, and I appreciate that. That showed a lot of maturity on both their parts.
But what I saw in the campaign was quite the opposite.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know about you guys out there in the audience, but my mailbox was daily blessed with campaign articles for all of the races,
Mm-hmm.
and
Including our phones.
and my phone, your phone, our phones,
Mm-hmm.
and all of those were do this. The type of ads that they were do this
Mhm.
or you're lost.
Wow.
Do this or basically the sky will fall and the world will end. Right? Do you see that? Like,
Yes.
and I had a really hard time with that.
Yeah.
And what I want to point out, and one of the things I wanted to discuss on this episode is, for the most part, while we may have some very serious ideological differences,
Mm-hmm.
the right and the left sides of our country, quote unquote, right and left sides of our country, for the most part, are the same.
Yeah.
And I don't know about the rest of you out there in the audience, but I'm really tired of being manipulated. I'm really tired of, I mean, it's constant. It never ends. And the more we increase in technology, the more we increase in our manipulation. Like our algorithms on our social media, which we're grateful for because it allows us the ability to talk to you guys, but everything is set up to increase their ability to manipulate. And when I say their ability, I mean our ability as a culture, but the political system's ability to garner
Mm-hmm.
votes.
Mm-hmm.
And the most effective way that they've learned to do that is through fear.
Yes.
Fear. Our political system is a fear-mongering machine.
Yes. Yes, it is. And that is part of the peddling fear. And if I can keep you in a state of fear, I'm keeping you also in a state of what is it? Of poverty, compliance, lack. You know, if you don't do this, you're not going to get that. And as long as I can keep that in your thought system, they're winning. And maybe I'm getting ahead of our conversation, but is that healthy for us? And do you want to remain that way?
So one of the challenges I want to talk about today is the alleviation of fear. Veritas, and thank you for joining us. By the way, thank you all for joining us, whether you're on TikTok, X, YouTube, wherever you might find yourself. Thank you guys for joining us. I want to apologize to the audience. Right now, our feed is not live on Facebook. My Facebook pages were hacked, and Facebook is working through the process of reestablishing access. So let's see. The topic for today, if you're just joining us, is about perspective.
Mm-hmm.
It's about, and we're talking about how never discount someone else's perspective because they really have it. They really have that experience. Mm-hmm. And what I want to talk about and how it relates to the political arena is that these politicians in their campaigns are geared towards making you believe that your experience is what they want it to be, not real.
Right.
but what they tell you it is.
Right.
Like, for instance, I'll give you an example of something that's important to me. So I have some core beliefs, I have some convictions, and they don't align necessarily with everybody else's, but they're mine and I stand on them.
Mhm.
And one of those is I don't believe in abortion. And I have my reasons for that, and I don't mind backing it up. I'll lay out the evidence and why it convicts me not to believe in it.
Right.
But you'll do the same thing if you disagree. And that doesn't mean that I have to like your disagreement.
Mhm.
It also doesn't mean that you are necessarily my enemy.
Right.
But these political sides, they want nothing more than for us to make enemies
Yes.
of each other.
Yes.
And they manipulate us so readily with fear.
Mhm.
And that is such a degrading
Right.
thing
Right.
for our culture. And it has played into what Space Madness says, these two make excuses for the worst behavior. You mind giving an example for that? But thank you for joining us. Brooklyn says it also doesn't mean you have to push me to conform to your beliefs. Brooklyn, I'm not. I agree with that. I'm not. And that's part of this show
Nope.
is it's okay
Mhm.
for us to have differences.
Mhm.
It's okay for us not to agree,
That's right.
but it's not okay for us to fear each other or hate each other,
Mhm.
or to go to the furthest extreme, which we've
Right.
seen a lot of recently. It's not okay for us to want each other to die
Right.
because of our convictions.
That's right. And we have seen that right here in this country in recent days. And the thing about beliefs, thank you for your comment, is I'm accountable for my beliefs. On the daily and at the end of my days, that's my accountability. And so this is the reason that I do increasing diligence to solidify what that belief is going to be, because it's going to affect not only the decisions I make for myself, but those that I influence, my friends and my family and other people. So if I take a strong stance on against abortion, that's because I've come to believe that to be the best policy for me, the best belief for me. And I can only hope others do their homework, as Rob was implying. He's looked into things. He's looked into a lot of the consequences of those choices, and that's the reason that he has made his decision as well. So I hope you're doing the same.
So we've got quite a few comments that are coming through now. Critical Thinker Studio says, why choose such a violent mythology to preach? You know, there's thousands of mythologies out there. Well, there are thousands of mythologies. And I don't know if you've been a follower or watcher of our show, but I'll tell you this. I'm not preaching anything to anyone. I am personally a Christian. I am not religious
Mhm.
at all. I don't believe in religion, but I am someone who wants to model my life as close as I can after Christ.
Mhm.
And I'm not going to make anyone else conform to that.
No,
That's not my job.
that's right.
Let's see. Custom Game Rooms to You, thanks for joining us, says it's only good versus evil. Do good. Well, I'm going to throw something crazy at you, and I'm not saying this to be argumentative about that, Custom Game Rooms, but I've said this in some of our courses, and I've been able to explain it, but there's only good. Evil is simply the absence of it. And if we were to all focus on the good, like you say, do good,
Mhm.
evil would have no place.
Right.
The one of the biggest problems is that there are so many who have given themselves over to anything but doing good.
Right.
And that's one of the saddest things in this existence.
One of the things that it's a phrase I use with my personal life, I use it with my kids, and and of course I even use it in my practice as a counselor. I said, I don't have the right to steal anything from anybody. And I'm not talking about an item, although I could be. I'm also talking about people's right to feel safe in my presence, safe to take risks, safe to raise their hands, safe to engage and volunteer. So yeah, if I'm having a conversation with someone who may or may not believe the same way that I believe, well, they should have the right to have that difference and feel safe to have it. So the opposite of good, thus being evil, is now I'm taking their right to feel safe in my environment. Because I can tell you, I have friends, close friends, who do not perfectly align with my political beliefs or some of my beliefs of faith. Okay. They're still loved, whether they like it or not.
So, okay, we've got a few comments here we're going to try to address. Good. Jay Woody says, good is subjective. I think helping the poor with taxes is good. Do you? I think helping people is good.
Mm-hmm.
I do not believe in taking money from those who earn it and giving it to anyone who doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that there are those among us who don't have the ability to earn, and they are our responsibility to take care of.
Mm-hmm.
And I do not believe that that tax money should be derived from people's income.
Right.
It should be derived from people's spending.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, I mean, I will stand behind that, back that up. I have no argument about that, or I have no qualms about that.
Right. And I've thought about, that's a very good point. I've thought about that for a very long time. And I personally have come to the conclusion that I don't believe that we should have government entities paid for by the producers that turn around and help the poor. I think that should come from heart motivated situations. And I believe, as the good versus evil comment that came up earlier, I believe that there are good people in this world. I think like Rob and I for sure would have no problems creating our own organization and giving to people who are in some level of poorness, if you will. And that could be all kinds of qualifications for that. But should a government entity do it? No, I don't believe that it should. That's a conclusion of mine. Maybe it's a bit more libertarian that other people prefer, but that's just the way that I see it.
So when Critical Thinker Studio says, so when you beg for money on this platform, you're not good. I've never begged for money on this or any other platform.
You got the wrong platform.
I think you may have the wrong show there. Yeah. And then let's see, Metalhead says, are you really saying the rich are victims of theft? Are you serious? Well, first, let me ask you this, Metalhead. I'm just throwing this out there. Are you rich? Are you wealthy? Do you operate from a place of abundance? Because to say someone is rich, and if you're talking about monetary wealth, I can't speak for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I don't know what exactly you're referencing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to trade places with them,
mm-hmm.
how would you be?
Mm-hmm.
What would be different about you? And why is it okay for us to penalize you, Metalhead, for striving for success?
Yeah.
Why would that be okay? And do you think it's fair and reasonable that as you earn more money, I take more away? Because that's what the government does in order to maintain its bloat, in order to maintain the level of theft and fraud that exists right now. They utilize your income to do it.
Yes.
Do you think all the Somali pirates in Minnesota got all their money from some magical fairy in the sky? No, that money came from you.
That's right. They didn't bring it with them either.
That money was stolen from your income. And I don't mean the rich people's income. That was stolen from the middle class.
Yes. Yes.
There's no other way around that.
The biggest tax paying section of our country, the middle class. So as you and us, as we get up and go to work every day, as I'm sure you do, a portion of that income has now been embezzled to fund those organizations.
So, and this is here's one we've got. Brooklyn says, in order to fix your roads, in order to pay your firefights and the police. Well, you're talking to a police officer. And I will tell you this, that there is plenty of tax revenue without income tax. And excise tax, tariffs, and sales tax would more than support all the needs and future needs of our government
Mhm.
systems, all of it,
Yes.
infrastructure, everything.
Right. Right.
So
And people will purchase their needs, and then people love to purchase their wants. Think about it. How many times, even in recent history, say the last 2 to 3 decades, we've had these stimulus situations. Everybody gets a card with, I don't know, $300, $500 on it. What's the first thing they do? They don't put it in the bank. They go spend it, and they know that. They understand how populace thinks. They're going to spend money and beyond just needs. So if that's a fact, let's just honor that fact and make that a tax system.
So Critical Thinkers Studio says, why are Christians liars and hypocrites if their morals are supposed to be objective? Well, here's a funny thing about humans. All humans are liars and hypocrites.
Mhm.
Nobody is
No.
exempt.
That's right.
And that includes Christians. It includes Muslims. It includes
Mhm.
everyone. I mean, it doesn't matter what your belief system or faith practices are. All of us,
Mhm.
we are all tempted
Mhm.
by those things: hypocrisy, lies, anger,
Mhm.
jealousy, envy, all of those things, covetousness,
Mhm.
all of that stuff.
Mhm.
There's not a single human being that lives or ever has lived or ever will live
Mhm.
that doesn't have that
Mhm.
as part of their temptations.
And those people in those faiths, whether it's Christian or Buddhist or Muslim or Hindu, the part of the reason they practice those faiths is because they're trying to mitigate the possibility of behaving as humans will. And every one of those books, the manuscripts, whether it's the Holy Bible or the Quran or what have you, it's warning against those poor behavior choices. And so we're humans. We're going to do it.
So
I tell that in my Bible classes all the time. If it's written in the book, even if it's a negative or it's demarked as a sin, the likelihood is you're going to do it.
yeah. And if you don't do it in actuality, you do it in your mind.
Yes.
You do it in private.
Yes.
But we're all guilty.
That's right.
None of us live a perfect life.
So the exercise of my
And-
faith, whether it's study or whether I'm teaching, is all to help me do that less.
Metalhead says the wealthy steal from the poor and middle class. Where's the anger for that? I think that's what we were just talking about.
Mhm.
Income tax is theft
Mhm.
from the middle class.
Mhm.
And that's exactly what I'm referencing. In fact, and maybe we agree on this because maybe the type of wealthy you're talking about is the political class.
Yeah.
And they are absolutely overburdening the American working person
Right.
and squandering that money and using it for their own gain and their own purposes without any accountability, without any transparency,
That's right.
without any fairness to the people they steal it from.
Mhm.
And I saw someone on here seem to be offended that I said that about the Minnesota Somali Pirates. And, maybe you want to take your kid to the Leering Center and have them stay there for a while. And maybe you see it differently. I don't know. But I wouldn't care what they looked like or where they were from. That just so happened to be the population that,
Right.
got a lot of attention. I guarantee you that when we start looking at every other state, there's going to be other populations from either right here in our backyard or from other areas that have all done the same thing.
That's right.
And it's all funneled through and from
Right.
your tax dollars.
That just seems to be the most prominently known. But I've had the privilege of slipping into a couple of episodes and interviews with people who are even more informed than I could ever be. And they're dropping names of organizations in states to where, man, I never even heard of them. But that person basically said they're doing the exact same thing. So this is countrywide. And I'm glad that we have organizations in place to expose them, to defund them, and then to put things in place so that never happens again.
Critical Thinkers Studios. Wow. Critical Thinkers Studio says, maybe if you worshiped me, you'd have better morals. Well, bless your heart. I don't need those kind of morals. I was looking for Captain America 7 says we're ignoring comments. So I was going back trying to find them. If you don't mind, share Captain America 7. Tell me what I missed. Sometimes the comments come through and I don't mean to miss them.
Right.
It's not on purpose.
Critical Thinker Studio. If I am ever in the market for a new divine deity, please submit your application, because I'd like to know what your worshipfulness would be. Thank you.
So, Critical Thinker Studio. Why not? Just said you do all those terrible things despite being a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, when you're sick, where do you go to find help?
Mm.
Don't you go to the doctor or the hospital?
Some version of
or some kind of medical treatment facility,
right? Even
or maybe you go to a Whole Foods thing or some kind of herbal remedies, but you seek help.
Yes,
and that's what I do with my failings and my sins and my wrongdoings.
Mm-hmm.
I seek help,
right?
And I seek that help through Christ
mm-hmm.
and through forgiveness of my Creator.
Right.
So I mean, I'm extraordinarily imperfect.
Right.
And
I can tell you all this as Rob is reading some of the comments. Being in the helping business for over 3 decades now, as a counselor, and I've also done other things as a coach and a teacher. I can tell you that no person has ever reached absolute transformation on their own. They have always had to seek a power greater than themselves, and in my opinion, that's going to be Christ. And it's just the way that it is. Folks have tried so many habit changes and other things like that, but the sustaining power is going to come through that faith. That's been my experience. Maybe you have a different one, but that's what I espouse is what I believe works.
So Brooklyn made a comment and says that, wait, we're at war right now. Shots were fired at the U.S. consulate in Toronto, and this is what you want to talk about? Brooklyn, I'm gonna hit on something here, and this is important because it's germane to this topic, and you may not agree with it, may not like it, but the fact is that we are always at war.
Always.
In my life, as short or long as it's been, no matter how you see it in your perspective, I've never seen a time where we were not at war.
Right.
Never seen it. And maybe you can tell me when that happened, but the point of this, the reason that it's germane is that
mm-hmm.
it's not something that we can afford to live in fear of, or that we can allow those circumstances to be used as manipulation tactics to leverage bad policy.
Right.
And that's something that I see
mm-hmm.
happen on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter which side of the aisle you land on.
Mm-hmm.
It's used on both sides.
That's right. I mean, if you think about it, and I'm going to get a little philosophical here, but if you think about it, I'm at war every day when I get up and I leave my house against temptation, against sin, against thoughts that I don't need to have. I need to purge from my system, from my paradigm, in order to have a better way. There's a version of war, and one of my favorite movies. It's Gene Hackman's in it. He's an admiral, and they were talking about being in this police action, whatever the politics were of the day. And he says, "No, we're at war. Every time this fleet leaves port and we are sailing across the great oceans of this planet, we're at a state of war. Maybe not be a declared war, but we're in a state of war." And I think we're all in a state of war every day. We should be. We should be preparing for the battle at hand, because you never know when the enemy will strike. So just so happens it's a little more obvious. Bullets are flying at structures, but there's a little more to it than that.
Trump's autographed Bible would like to hear about your educational background.
Who?
You.
Me?
Yeah.
I have a master's in education, and I'm a licensed counselor. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. Let's see. I think some of these comments are great. So Gronky says, praise Allah. Well, I'm glad that you have some higher power you believe in. Got no argument for you there. Let's see. Okay. I guess scroll back because it goes so fast. And by the way, thank you all. I mean, you even if you're oppositional or even if you're working to be frictional in your comments, I still appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I think it's all in good fun, and if the opportunity presents itself, I'd love to learn something from you.
Yes.
Uh,
I mean, if you think about it this way. If you're sharpening a blade, well, that's not a very pleasant experience for the blade. And so sometimes opposition is good. It makes us sharper. It makes us, gives us more clarity. And even we've had detractors on this show, Rob, that have made comments, and it's actually enlightened me some, and I appreciate that. It doesn't hurt my feelings.
So here's a comment from someone, and thank you for being a part of the show. And I'm going to be real careful how I say this name because it's a funny name.
Okay. D.
Snuts says, if you need God or a Bible to be good, you've got problems. Mm-hmm. And it's funny. I don't disagree with you there. Mm-hmm. I do not believe you necessarily need a Bible or God to be good. Mm-hmm. You need a Bible, or you need God for salvation. Mm-hmm. You need God as the deity to have faith in. Mm-hmm. And, faith is believing in something that is not physical. It's the evidence of things not seen, the belief in things that are hoped for. Mm-hmm. And without faith, there can be no hope.
Right.
And you might be able to live, a long while without food. Mm-hmm. You might be able to live a long while without water. Mm-hmm. You can live a few seconds without air, but you can't live the blink of an eye without hope.
That's right.
We have got to have hope. And in order to have hope, you must have faith.
Yeah.
And with faith, you have to have a place to put it, mm-hmm. for it to grow, mm-hmm. for it to be fruitful, for it to help you build yourself. Mm-hmm. And I choose to believe in Christ.
And I think of things in layers, Rob. I have a hope that this show is helpful and influential. I know it will be for us. I have a hope that I will have some measure of influence on people who will come see me as clients today. I have a hope for prosperity. And then I have these greater hopes, like the one that's going to happen when this body, when this host is in a state of decay and it's over. But what's the next thing? So yeah, hope comes in many different incarnations, and salvation, living beyond this life in a better place. I call it heaven. Yeah, there it is.
So Critical Thinkers Studio says people don't have hope, but still persevere. That's also a lie. Mm. So I could see how you might think people are in a hopeless situation and they still persevere. Mm-hmm. But if you were to be able to project the inner thoughts and inner feelings of the person you think is hopeless, mm-hmm. there would be hope there. Just like those who have experienced atrocities worldwide, they've never lost hope. That's why they continue to be resilient. Mm-hmm. I don't know of a single body of people who truly are hopeless. Mm-hmm. Or a single person.
Right. You mentioned perseverance. I believe that's what you read. Well, that is a synonym of hope. If they may be in a very, very hopeless situation, but it's not completely hopeless. I have been around people who seem to have exhausted their hope. And, that's very sad. It's very tragic. And because most of those lives did not end well, but they did end. So if you're in that situation, please seek help. Please seek help. Start with your physician or somebody else that you think can help you begin to fill that vessel if you feel that empty. Do not take that risk, please.
So let's see. We had I can't make it. There you go. So Rick Fisk says, faith comes by hearing. It's the teaching promises of God. That's true. Faith mm-hmm. comes by hearing. Mm-hmm. Faith comes by teaching. Faith grows mm-hmm. that way. That is true. Mm-hmm. Let's see.
On that same line, I think it was Rick, I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and we were talking about them using the Bible as one of their healing agents, and that's what they wanted to do. And I said, one thing you're going to learn, especially when you get to from Jesus on into his followers, his immediate followers, is that most of the letters are written straight to you. They're written straight to you, about you, and about having how to find a better way. There are some that reference church and congregation, but by and large, it's written straight to me. And I hope that they received it well.
So Trump's Autograph Bible says the fact that cherry pick questions is disappointing. I'm going to make the guess that you mean the fact that they pick cherry pick questions is disappointing. If I missed something from you, please go ahead and repeat it.
Yeah, please proceed.
If it bears sharing with the audience, then I'll share it. But if it's off topic, or if it's crude, lewd, or socially unacceptable, we'll probably skip past it anyway.
Right.
So please, I don't want to skip you.
That's right. But know this, out of respect for the folks who are taking out of their busy day to tune in to participate in this conversation, we're not going to read things that are either meant to throw us off topic or are terribly insulting or inappropriate. It's not going to happen.
So Rick Fisk says, wrong. The letters are written to people who lived in the first century. Mm-hmm. Well, they may have been written directly to those people, but they are symbolic of all mankind and everything that we deal with. They're inspired by the Holy Spirit, and the scriptures are full of meaning and purpose for modern life as well.
And on that same note, I have, and I'm presuming Rob, I've read and listened to material that was produced more than 2,000 to 3,000+ years ago, probably even before Christ was on this earth, and they were meant to inspire their people, if you will, to help them find enlightenment, to help them find some place of peace. So just because it was written that many years ago doesn't mean it's still applicable to the improvement of mankind. And
so Trump's Autograph Bible says, tell me what Christian moral Trump embodies. Well, I don't really, that's not how I live my life. I don't look at other people, especially Trump, and say, oh, he embodies Christianity in this way.
It seems like a bit of a setup question, like I'm supposed to make a moral judgment of somebody else's life. I don't believe you would want me to make a moral judgment of yours, so I'm not going to make a moral judgment of his.
But I will say this, he has done a lot to defend the freedom of worship, not just for Christians, but he has defended our foundation and our fundamental principles as a Judeo-Christian nation. He has defended that, and he also has defended the right to worship freely, whatever your belief system or faith may be. So I don't know about him personally. I have heard quotes from him that said that he it sounded like humility, but which I would agree is a rare thing from our president. But he said, I don't even know if I'm going to make it to heaven, which how many of us hadn't felt that way?
Right. Right.
So,
and I believe he's done some charitable things there. During the campaigns, many people stepped forward and said, out of nowhere, my mortgage got paid. Out of nowhere, my medical bills got paid. I found out later it came from this Mr. Trump at the time, I guess that's what they called him. And so, if he's practiced that kind of charitable generosity with his the money that he's built up through the years, thank you. That's good. I hope to do more of that myself.
So You Can't Handle the Truth says, Matthew 19:9 says, I believe outlines adultery, perfect guide for why you don't. Okay, I'm not sure what you're referencing, but okay. Let's see. Captain 7 America says, now what? Friend texting, bugging me to try again, to come back. To come back to what? Did I miss something?
I don't know.
So Trump's Autograph Bible says he's literally stolen billions from the government. Let's see, like when he sexually assaulted children. I find it fascinating since you said that, and
Mhm.
I'm gonna make a terribly generalistic statement
Okay.
because it seems like Trump's autograph Bible that you are fitting yourself into a category of people who always do this similar behavior.
Mm.
I hate to categorize people,
Mm.
but it just seems fitting at this moment. And over again on this show and on others, there have been a faction of people who constantly say that.
Mhm.
Y'all have the same message,
Mhm.
the same script,
Mhm.
but there's never any evidence.
Right.
And I don't know how you guys can keep saying the same mantra when there's nothing there to support it. And I mean, if you've got some evidence,
Yeah.
I mean, by God,
Yeah.
send it to me, and
Yeah.
I'll share it from the rooftops.
Certainly.
I mean,
Certainly. And that if your intent is for to get a rise or reaction, sorry, that's not going to happen. We as men, we deal in evidence, and that's so. Please share it. And we'll definitely take a look at whatever evidence that you have.
You Can't Handle the Truth says he was just outlining, or they were just outlining the Bible as a life guide. Thank you. No, and I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
When that line about adultery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's
Yeah,
good.
absolutely. And it is a life guide. That's a fact. And I do appreciate that.
And Daddy of Dragons says, you know nothing of evidence. All right, Jon Snow.
Sound like that?
Yeah.
That's a.
It makes sense the way you said that with it,
Yeah.
with a
Yeah.
handle like that. So that's
Mhm.
great.
It
That's
is.
great. I
It
caught you
is.
there. Brooklyn says, but didn't you say you shouldn't push your beliefs on others, yet you vote and support someone who does? Hypocrite.
Mhm.
Well, I don't necessarily vote and support someone who does.
Mhm.
When I vote, and I do every chance I get,
Mhm.
just like the rest of you out there,
Mhm.
I have to choose the person to vote for who is the closest I can get to what I believe to be right.
Right.
It doesn't mean that I believe everything they believe or support everything that they do. It's the best choice that's given.
Right.
If you make no choice at all, you should have no voice at all.
That's right. But
If you choose not to participate,
Mhm.
then you have no right to complain.
Mhm.
So the very fact that we vote
Mhm.
gives us the right to have a voice.
I'll even go one step further, and this is a line from one of my favorite songs. I'll let you do the homework and look it up. Even if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. And so, and I guarantee you, no matter what side of the aisle, if you want to look at it like that you feel like you are more heavily persuaded, even people on the other side of the aisle, even from us, they espouse their beliefs. They're going to do it. And that's just seeming part of human nature. Maybe they feel like they should. I kind of wish they shouldn't. I wish they would just address the issues as is, but we know that they're not.
So Captain 7 America says, that's it. I'm blocking, my friend. When you're ready to talk, text me a message.
Mhm.
If you like to talk. I have no idea what you're talking about.
No.
But thanks for participating. We appreciate you.
Mhm.
Wish you well in your journey.
Yes.
Let's see. Trump's autograph Bible says having integrity isn't for everyone. Well, let's talk about that for a minute. What is integrity?
Yeah.
You can be a jerk. You can be a complete unlikable person and still be a person with integrity.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean you have high moral standards.
That's right.
It doesn't mean you have good character. But having integrity just means that you are the same all the time.
Mhm.
I'm sure you all have had people like that in your life that you've dealt with that you didn't necessarily like them. You wouldn't go hang out with them, or you wouldn't want to hang out and drink a beer with them in an afternoon. But you knew what they were, so you could have positive dealings with them.
Yes.
A person of integrity doesn't have to be a good person. They just have to be the same all the time.
Mhm.
Now, a person with good moral standards, good character,
Mhm.
That's different.
Right.
So you have to understand that those two are not the same.
Right.
I would actually say and argue that if you're talking about Trump, he is an absolute person of integrity because he's never changed.
Yeah.
Like if you look throughout history in his life,
Mhm.
he has made it very clear through his life, not just his words, but through the evidence of his life, that he loves making deals.
Mhm.
He doesn't care about it. Like that's
Mhm.
that's his persona.
Right.
I mean, it's his book he wrote, The Art of the Deal.
That's right.
And he's done it throughout his entire career as a businessman and even into being president.
Yeah.
That's what he loves to do, and that's what he continues to do. So yeah, you can argue that he's not a person of integrity, but he is. Now, whether or not he's a person of high moral standards, I can't argue that because I don't know him personally and I'm not, intimately in his life.
Right.
Let's see. Brooklyn says, oh, I lost it. It went away. Raven says he's the most corrupt president we've ever had. That's a stretch.
That is.
Daddy of Dragon says he's always been a terrible person. Well, if that's true, at least he's the same terrible person, and you know what you're getting all the time.
There you go.
Let's see. Trump's autograph Bible says you can. Do you support convicted felons all the time, or just in elections?
Mhm.
That's funny.
Mhm.
So you support pedophiles all the time, or just in elections?
Mhm.
Well, that's a fascinating question. I don't ever support pedophiles, and I believe that if we find evidence that says that anyone is a pedophile, and it's found true,
Mhm.
I believe they deserve the death penalty.
Mm.
And I don't care what anyone else says.
Right.
If you touch a child, if you steal the innocence of a child, if you violate a child, you deserve to die. You do not deserve to continue to breathe the same air that the rest of humanity breathes, and there is no salvation for your life on this earth. You deserve to meet your creator and be judged by him. I don't believe there's hope for that. You cannot rehabilitate that. And I don't care what anybody else says, likes, thinks, disagrees. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no gray area in pedophilia. Now, for everyone out there saying Trump's a pedophile, well, it's easy to say it.
Yeah.
You can say stuff about anybody,
Mhm.
but they're just words, and I'm like, there's just innuendo.
Mhm.
If I could see something that actually was some sort of evidentiary support
Mhm.
that Trump truly was a pedophile, he would lose all my support.
Yeah.
And I would estimate that he would lose the entire support of the nation.
Right.
And I would estimate that he would be
Mhm.
thrown out of office pretty dang fast.
I see those as provocative accusations. It's like when, somebody votes a certain way, maybe on a more conservative on an issue. Now all of a sudden they're racist. I kind of put it in that same category. It's not legitimate. And if you think it is legitimate, just put that evidence out there, man.
So we got somebody on YouTube that says, hi, Mr. Powerage. Hi. Thank you for joining the show. It's good to see you out there. If you have any questions, love to hear from you. And thank you to all of you. Raven, Trump's autograph Bible. You Can't Handle the Truth. All of you. I appreciate all of you. No matter if you agree, disagree, it doesn't matter. Out Trump mouth, he said he would walk in on pageant contestants. Yes, walking in on pageant contestants, but that's not pedophilia.
Mm-hmm.
Pedophilia is violating the innocence of a child
Yes.
in any way.
Yes.
Now, I don't know what pageant contestants he walked in on.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen that video where he says that. I don't remember the entire context, but I've seen it. And when it's taken out of context and played and used as to support an argument, it can look really bad. And it may be bad. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's still, it's a lot different than pedophilia.
Yes. Yes. So I think you may have a moral hang up with him doing that, but you may not be categorizing it perfectly well.
So Brooklyn says you don't want to know. Well, actually, I would love to know. Now I'll tell you this, Brooklyn and Trump's autograph Bible and anybody else on here that's paying attention. If you're looking for something, you're going to find it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you that right now. So if you want with all your heart to find out that somebody is guilty, you'll find ways
Yes.
for them to be guilty.
Mm-hmm.
But I want the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I want the truth. Only the truth. I don't want slant. I don't want innuendo. I don't want shadows of doubt. I just want the truth.
Right.
Like, why is it that we get so focused on the possibilities that somebody could be guilty?
Mm-hmm.
We lose sight of focusing on.
Ooh, don't let me go psychobabble on that one. There's reasons that people are looking for things because they don't want to look at themselves. I'm sorry, but most times when people are being accusatory toward other folks, it's because they're unfortunately there are some things in here, and it may not be the exact same thing, but we all have indiscretions. Everybody has them. I understand that, and that's why I think I know Rob and I for sure try to live a graceful life because grace was given to me.
Man, I ain't graceful. I trip
Yes,
and
you
fall
are.
getting up to go to the
Yes,
door.
you are. And I
but-
hope you guys are practicing grace.
So
Please do.
Brooklyn says you just want tax cuts. Well, I don't know what that means necessarily, what you mean by that.
Yeah.
I want income tax for the American people abolished. That's what I want.
That's right.
I want property tax to be a diminishing thing.
Yes.
I believe that we need a system of property tax in this nation
Mhm.
that actually affords the person who purchases the property to own it, not rent it annually after paying a lump sum large lease fee in the beginning,
Right.
guised as a purchase.
Right.
I believe that property taxes should be a diminishing thing. And I saw a plan that had a 6-year deal where it would actually, you pay a certain amount at the sale at the purchase of the property.
Mhm.
And then over the next 6 years, it would actually decrease to nothing.
Oh, wow.
And that the local governments would have sales tax that would generate the revenue that was needed.
Yes.
And I think that's amazing.
Yes.
And it would incentivize communities to draw in sales resources like retail sales. It would incentivize certain communities to draw in industrial,
Hmm.
factories and things like that
Right.
for advantages like
That's
that.
right. That's right.
But no, Brooklyn, I don't just want tax cuts. I want
No.
very specific
No.
taxes to be
Right.
eliminated. Raven says we pay taxes on everything. The gas we buy, the car we buy, the clothes we buy, the license plate we get. And you're on target, Raven.
Right.
I couldn't agree with you more. We pay taxes
Mhm.
from conception to death.
Right.
There's taxes on everything we
Right.
touch,
Right.
and it never ends.
So wouldn't it be even better then if we took a portion of that away, thus the income tax, and just stayed on what you referenced, which is the tax on the trade of goods and services?
So there's a funny one.
Mm.
Daddy of Dragons says religiosity thrives in poorly educated areas like the Bible Belt and Republican states.
Hmm.
So Daddy of Dragons, I'm just curious, where are you from? First question.
Mhm.
And what about you do you consider to be far superiorly educated
Mm.
than those of us in the South or other areas,
The
what you're calling the Bible Belt?
Bible Belt.
And I'll say this, straight from Texas, bless your heart. So let's see, the Gozerian, that's a Ghostbuster play right there.
Mm.
LOL, why aren't you talking about the 9 trillion to war instead of helping average humans with welfare?
Mm.
Daddy of Dragon says, this is just data, buddy. Well, sadly enough, that's not data. That was an opinion statement you made, Daddy of Dragons. If there was no data in there.
No.
And
No.
then let's see, Brooklyn says, so vote for the person who will give you that. Just ignore, hold on. Gotta get it back. Just ignore the young soldier who will die along the way.
Mm.
I find that fascinating,
Mhm.
Brooklyn. I'm gonna share something with you. Maybe y'all know this, maybe you don't, but I actually have a son in the Navy. My dad fought in Vietnam. My grandfather died last week, and he fought in World War II. And nothing about me, nothing about my life ignores the value of those servicemen and women
That's right.
who are willing to lay down their last full measure of devotion so that we can afford and enjoy the freedoms that we enjoy.
That's right.
So I would never let something like that go, Brooklyn, and I don't.
That's right.
I do not admire that you said it.
That's right. That's right.
That's
Like-
ugly.
That's right. And likewise, members of my family have served, going all the way back to at least World War One, in my knowledge. So, without more detail, definitely believe in the fighting soldier.
The other thing, Brooklyn says it's fact. So and it's a funny thing people do when they don't like what somebody says, or
Mhm.
it's especially a left or liberal thing. And
Mhm.
I know we're talking about division, and that's what this
Mhm.
is.
Mhm.
But their argument is always to come back and say it's a fact.
Mhm.
It's not.
Yeah.
A fact is a relative thing. Actually, the truth is not
Mhm.
relative. The truth is just the truth.
That's right.
So you saying it's a fact doesn't convince me that you're right.
Nope.
Bless your heart. Raven says the problem is we have no problem listening to Donald Trump, but he lies. I don't disagree with that. He probably does.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know what all is the truth and what all is the lies. Raven says he tells you food prices are going down. Well, have you been to the grocery store lately and compared it to last year or year before last at the same time? They are
Yeah.
going down.
I bought eggs this weekend, and they are going down.
We buy eggs by the big case, the
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
I forget how many's in it. It's like 68 or something. I don't know. It's a case, a box of eggs.
Yeah.
And 2 years ago, that thing was getting close to $30, and now it's less than 20. So yeah, they're going down.
That's right.
We buy lactose-free milk for my kids.
Mm.
I have 2 lactose intolerant kids,
Mhm.
and that milk was over $5 a carton, and that's a quart.
Mm.
And I went 2 nights ago and bought some, and it was $3. So it's absolutely going down. And then let's see.
So I guess those would be facts.
Frank Diggs 72 says, "Are y'all Zionists?"
Hmm.
That's a fascinating question.
Mhm.
I'm a Christian.
Mhm.
Now, I don't run around trying to categorize you into anything.
Yeah.
If you say you are something, then hey, that's great.
Mhm.
Um,
But being a Christian, by its title, my hope is to live more like Christ every day.
so does that answer your question, Frank?
Mhm.
If not, feel free to follow up with another. Daddy of Dragons, you named 2 things. I don't know what you're talking about. Gozer the Gozerian.
Oh yeah, eggs and milk. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, that's just what I bought the other day. Bacon too. Bacon.
Oh.
And I eat a lot of bacon. Bacon has gone down,
Okay.
and
Okay.
I mean, I don't buy fancy bacon.
Yeah.
Uh, I've been known to buy the irregular cut bacon
Mm.
just so I can pay less and get more. But bacon has absolutely
Yeah.
gone down in
Man, when
price.
pizza and burgers go down, I'll come back on this shit.
Yeah.
As you can tell, I do enjoy my eats.
And
man.
Face Man, you're right. That is an absolute truth. Let's see. Raven, yes, milk is down. Bacon's still $6.95 a pound.
Mm.
Hamburger meat, $9 a pound. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I raise my own beef, so I don't go out and buy commercial
Right.
meat, beef that is.
Mhm.
So I don't always keep up with the ground beef prices
Yeah.
necessarily.
Right. And we all know that prices do vary per where we live
Yeah,
in the
and
country.
yes.
So sorry, us Bible belters may pay a little less than some of our more Yankee friends, but
There you go, Daddy of Dragons.
yeah.
Maybe us down here ain't so stupid after all. We got something going on. We got cheaper groceries. So I mean, it is fascinating. As dumb as we Southern folk are,
Yeah.
we pay less for our food. So who's the dummy now? I can eat all the bacon I want.
That's it. I got to run because I do have to work, my friends. But I will say that there's an old,
What are you trying to say?
I got to go. There's an old dealership from the Houston area. Their advertisement was eggs and Chevrolets are cheaper in the country. So there you go.
Well, we appreciate all of you for taking part in our show today. If I missed your comments or questions, I apologize, but we appreciate the engagement. We will be back here next Tuesday at 10 o'clock, same time, same place. The same two balding white dudes in the Bible Belt in Southeast Texas. I mean, the dollar will lose because of $100 in the day.
We do appreciate you. Thank y'all very much. Even if you don't agree with us, that's okay. We're glad that we're able to provide you a place to share more of what you think is right.
Well, Chuck, if you got to go, I'm going to address this.
Oh, okay.
Brooklyn says, y'all, if it doesn't impact them, it doesn't exist. The caucasity of the older white man. You know, that's it's sad that you have to think that small, Brooklyn.
That's right. That's
And
right.
honestly, you don't have a clue about what you're talking about. I wish I had a picture to show you of how caucasity, as you call it, doesn't exist
Right.
in my family.
Right.
But bless your heart anyway.
Let me leave you with this. I know I've said on this show several times. The God that I serve, okay, he doesn't judge genetics; he creates them. So I'm glad that there are diversity of genetics in this world. Makes for a beautiful life. So if we are the representatives of what is she called?
Caucasity.
Because so be it. Thank you. Hey, thank y'all for everybody. Have a great week.
Yeah, we'll talk soon. We'll see y'all next Tuesday.
Question everything.